Now, you may be familiar with Eurovision, but what about Intervision? With Russia banned from the European Song Contest because of its invasion of Ukraine, President Vladimir Putin has revived Intervision, a Soviet-era song contest that was a rival to Eurovision during the Cold War. Moscow says singers from 23 countries, including China, India, and Brazil, will compete for a cash prize worth about $360,000. Songs can be sung in any language, and a professional jury will decide the outcome rather than the viewing public. Ukraine has called the event an instrument of hostile propaganda. Well, for more to discuss all this, we can welcome Leela Jacinto from our International Affairs Desk. Leela, welcome. And tell us a bit more about this Intervision Song Contest and why is Moscow reviving it now?
Yes, it's very interesting. I mean, it's a revival. Intervision was a Soviet era propaganda tool, and actually we have very interesting details on Intervision on our website. So a shout out to our internet web team. You can go on our website francevancat.com for details on this. So basically, Intervision began in the mid 1960s, and the last Intervision was in 1980. So during the 60s and 70s, it was held in Prague. Poland had many contests as well. And of course, after the fall of the Soviet Union, this contest faded away because Russia got to participate in the real thing, in Eurovision. And in 2008, Russia actually won the Eurovision contest. But things started to get tricky in 2014. For one, 2014 is the year that Russia invaded Crimea. So the Russian contestant in 2014 was booed at the Eurovision contest. And also what was happening was that in 2014, President Vladimir Putin introduced very sweeping anti-gay, anti-LGBT laws. And the winner that year in 2014 was an Austrian drag queen act. Her name is Conchita Wurst. And to date, Russian officials keep mentioning that. So, for instance, at the press conference in Moscow to announce the revival of the Intervision, someone no less than Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov himself referenced a woman with a beard in a man's dress, you know? So, I mean, what they are trying to have with this contest is something different from Eurovision. But Intervision 2025 is different. This time it's different.
And how so? How is it different this time around?
Well, for starters, it's bigger, as you said. I mean, in the old days, it was just the Eastern Bloc countries. Nobody really paid attention to it. I mean, this time we have 23 countries, all the BRICS countries. I mean, this includes more than half the world's population. The tricky thing about having such a sweep of countries is that the one thing that makes Eurovision so successful is that all the participating countries can watch together and vote together. You know, these participating countries, includes from Brazil to Vietnam. We're covering 11 time zones. So the very democratic nature of Eurovision, voters can't really call in their success stories. Another different thing, of course, is the content, right? I mean, so Russian President Vladimir Putin has talked about traditional values for the Intervision contest. So it's, it doesn't make for very edgy stuff. So, I mean, the content is likely to be quite different as well.
And is this version of Intervision likely to succeed? And does that even really matter?
Well, I mean, a lot of critics say Intervision is more Kremlin than kitsch. But will it succeed? That it really depends on the context. And coming back to the importance of soft power, right? We are in a different world right now, where the so-called global South countries are really talking about the Eurocentrism of the post-World War order and are pushing it. That's one thing. Two, it also has to be seen whether this catches, because we are in a world where the narrative is not really fixed by states, right? But the thing is, the US won the Cold War soft power game because the US officials knew that music was very important, but they were very, they were sophisticated. They did not want rock and jazz and heavy metal to be seen as propaganda tools. So if Moscow continues to behave in a heavy-handed way, maybe the content itself may not speak for itself. But this is a different age, and Russia has bots on its side.
Leela, thank you so much. That's France 24's Leela Jacinto.